Hey everybody, Rich Lang with Prep You down here in the bunker, one of my favorite spots of the house, besides outside on the new deck that I just built this summer. Hey, I've been wanting to do this video for a little while because I've had different information and stuff like that. And far be it from me to be one of those fear-mongering prepping sites saying that, hey, I know a manager here, I know this guy there. We're not going to have any of this stuff. It's going to be gone. All hell's going to break loose. People are going to be rioting for food and stuff. I'm never going to do that. All right. My job here is to teach you what you need to do. So, with that in mind, I have been teaching you all along. So, a lot of you out there, no matter what I say here, are going to go, okay, yeah, we're prepared for that. Rich has said, be prepared for this, be prepared for that. You know, you're not looking for the zombie apocalypse or the asteroid that's hitting the earth. You're looking for minor things like, hey, hurricanes, tornadoes, ice, snow, loss of jobs, so you have some food to feed your family and stuff like that. But I felt the information that I've gotten recently is pretty credible. I mean, and it makes a lot of sense. As the title of this video kind of goes along with commodities, you've seen some reduced on the shelves because you're actually seeing less products on the shelves, but more of individual products where they're spreading them out. You know, where once a company was glad to have about this much space eye level, now they've got like this much space because there aren't any other products out there. Um, but what we're going to talk about today, and it's funny that I didn't do this video earlier, and I've got an article that kind of tells me why I didn't do it until now, because it's a whole nother article about commodities that you're not going to see are going to be in short supply, especially by Christmas. But let's talk about commodity shortages and when we talk about shortages, what are we talking about? Well, let me use an example that's on my shelf right now. Not that long ago, all right, not that long ago, when I went to Sam's or wherever, this is the size of tomatoes I could get in a number 10 can. I have not seen a number 10 can in Sam's, at least, and even on their website, it says you can order it, but they're not in stock for months. What do you find? Well, what you find is the smaller cans in 8 packs. All right, so I was just at Sam's today, picked up a bunch of these, both diced and sauce. 782. 782 for 8, which is really good if you think about if you go to the store and what you're going to pay there. But these used to be around 540 not that long ago. All right. So you can see that adding to your stockpile is going to get a little bit more expensive as it goes down the road. Why? Why is it getting expensive? Well, let's talk about this. Farming is not really a small family business where a whole bunch of farmers get together and they have a co-op and they sell in the co-op. You got the grain elevators, you got the fruit and vegetable markets and stuff like that, where they all come together and then they sell it to the larger people, and it's local. You wouldn't find a store in the Midwest buying from a place in California that long ago. It just didn't happen. It was local. And I remember my parents talking about, my gosh, getting an orange at Christmas in their stocking was crazy. You get oranges any time of the year now because it's global. All right. But what has happened is, as the small farms get smaller and smaller, the big farms get larger and larger. Okay. And what does that mean? It means more people to work them, more startup costs, more fuel costs, more equipment costs, more transportation costs, because they're going further out. They're sending stuff further out. So right now, because of coming off the pandemic, which this didn't have to be, we've talked about this, none of the shutdown had to happen. All right? Not at all. All right. Large scale farms are taking longer to get going because they're looking for workers. The workers are there. They just don't want to work. All right? thanks to some policies in some states, which are now long gone, we're paying people not to work. So people didn't go to work. They were making more money sitting at home. Labor shortages continue. Why? I don't know. It seemed like the help wanted signs came down about a month and a half ago, but they're all back up. Well, what would be the one main thing why those help wanted signs are back up? Yep, the workers are back at college, or they found better jobs, or whatever. That's why the prices are going up and up to pay the workers, and so goes down the line along with not only is meat more expensive, but tomatoes are more expensive, and making ketchup is more expensive, and all that kind of stuff. So, and they don't have the labor to make it, so that's shorting. Getting processing plants online, that's not that easy. You shut down a processing plant, you've got to get in there and you've got to clean it. You've got to make sure the equipment's working right. You have to do runs of your products, and you have to make sure those products are clean, and you've gotten all the bugs out of the equipment, and everything's running down the line, and there's no contaminants, there's no particles, there's no nothing. You have new employees that you're trying to train how to do it. So stuff isn't coming off the assembly line. And of course, the number one reason is growing vegetables in the desert need a whole heck of a lot of water. Guess who doesn't have water anymore? Places in the desert. So they're not growing as much as they can. Parts of the Southwest don't have the rainfall. So they're running out of water. They're not able to produce as much. So those are just some of the small reasons why production is slowed, while you're not seeing as much volume coming out. And what does that mean? Let's just take California per se. California in the drought system, labor shortages, government regulations are way up on some of these farms and stuff like that. Plus, they don't like dairy and meat farmers. No, not at all. They don't like them at all. So what are some of the top crops coming out of California? Well, I think basically the number one is you've got almonds and avocados, and you've got tomatoes, and you have asparagus. You have anything that farms across the country grow. They try to grow in California because they have a longer growing season. They just don't have water. And now they really don't have water, which is a main problem. If you've seen the videos on YouTube about Lake Mead and the Colorado River, and they're hoping for more snowfall this year because of wildfires and stuff like that. Who knows? Okay, but they're just not growing it. So tomatoes are a major issue. That's why you can't find, right there, how can I do it? Number 10 cans. You just can't find them anymore because they're trying to spread out the supply. Water. Bottled water is hard to find. You're not gonna, it's definitely not coming from the West Coast. That's really hard. Fruits and vegetables, fresh and frozen. They're just not producing enough. Like I told you before, the processing plants aren't up, aren't running, and there's just no manpower to take care of that. Chicken. A lot of these large chicken farms are industrial size, not mom and pop shops anymore. It takes a lot of labor, a lot of feed, a lot of everything. And when the pandemic hit, they cut down their supplies of chickens. So now they've got to, hey, you got to grow them. You got to have eggs. You got to grow them. So if you're not selling the eggs and you're making chickens, there aren't eggs on the market to sell. All right, so there's been a downturn, and it's fluctuating. I've seen it Mariano's and Kroger. Well, Mariano's is Kroger, but I've seen it Jewel, the fluctuation of the eggs. Someday there'll be a ton of eggs. Some days there won't be any eggs. Like I said, the sales aren't there because they reduced the flocks. Okay, remember not that long ago there was a chicken wing shortage, and everybody was freaking out, for having chicken wings for their baseball games and their, parties and whatever. Well, if you don't have wings, you don't have breasts, you don't have thighs, you don't have a lot of things if you don't have wings. So, canned foods. How many of you know that there's an aluminum shortage across the world? Yeah, there's an aluminum shortage across the world. Well, if you have an aluminum shortage across the world, you can't make the cans. Well, where are all the cans going? Well, cans are going into garbage. As much as people try to recycle, a lot of places up till now, there hasn't been an aluminum shortage. So there's like, you know, aluminum is good money, but, you know, how much can we make off aluminum? You know, so, but now aluminum prices are up, brass prices are up. There is more recycling going on. And not only for food for you and me, but what about your pet food? Sure, a lot of people get dry pet food, which is, so I'm told, really dead food. So you have to have something added to it. But pet food, a lot of pet food comes in aluminum cans. And kind of a byproduct of this also is the government and animal rights groups and environmentalists are really trying to cut down the amount of beef that's out there because of cows. Cows' flatulence is causing, who knows what it's causing. I don't know. What did dinosaur flatulence cause? I don't know. But anyhow, they are saying that, you know, we got to get rid of beef, which they are, which we'll talk about in a second, to reduce all, you know, the gases to the environment, the greenhouse gases and stuff like that. But guess what? Plant-based food, which needs plants, are not getting plants because they're not growing plants and there's not enough water to grow the plants. And the plants that they're using for the Impossible Burger and, you know, Impossible Chicken and Impossible whatever, it's not there. So there's a plant-based meat shortage now. If it hasn't hit you yet, it will. Milk-based products, especially cream cheese. Wait till we get to this about milk products. Cream cheese is going to be less and less. And what do you use cream cheese in? A lot of holiday baking. That's for darn sure. So where we're saying there's a shortage now, or maybe not a shortage now, there will be come Christmas time when people are baking and they're doing cheesecakes and they're making, you know, turkeys. Oh, my wife told me today there's supposed to be a turkey shortage. That's going to go over well in this country. And then we talk about meat, especially beef, since it's very labor intensive. Okay, from an article that I read not that long ago, that beef is very labor intensive. They are also reducing their herd size in not only dairy but in the meat industry. What's cattle? Thank you, whoever said that. The cattle industry, they're reducing their herd size because they're being affected by government regulation caused by woke politicians that think that, you know, the environmentalists are where it's at and stuff like that. And just a sidebar, if you ever want to think about how silly a lot of these environmentalists are, take a listen to George Carlin's take on Earth Day and environmentalists. It's a great thing to you know, make you happy. But anyhow, why I didn't make this video a while ago and why I'm happy that I waited till now. Well, lo and behold, when I'm at school, downtime, I find this article from Fox News Business, published October 3rd. Hey, I think that's today. That's why I'm making this video. U.S. facing butter shortage ahead of the holidays. Oh, yay. Well, we already know that where you used to be able to buy a pound of butter for $3, it's costing you upwards of $7 now. It's almost like gold to get it, you know. So if I were you, I'd go out and start buying butter. It may come down, it may go up, but hedge your bets, you know. At least have 5, 6, 10 pounds of butter in your freezer. But why? Here's the deal. All right, according to data from the United States Agriculture Department, the amount of butter sitting in U.S. storage facilities in August fell 10% month over month. However, it was down 22% compared to the same time last year. So there was 22% more butter in storage facilities around this country than there is right now. So, for example, there was over 282 million pounds of butter in warehouses last month, down from 362 million pounds in August. So it's dropping quickly. As supplies dwindle, the price for butter has surged, outpacing all other foods on the Consumer Price Index. Cost for groceries in August rose, wait for it, 13.5%. However, butter prices rose 24.6% in August. We don't know what they rose in September yet because they're still trying to figure it out. So Tanner, an economist from the dairy and specialty crops at CoBank, said historically high butter prices are all but certain to continue for the remainder of 2022 as shortages continue. Some churns are slowing production due to the tight U.S. milk supplies and short staffing at plants. And what did I read about the other? Just tell you about the other articles. There's still a staffing shortage. It's all back again because kids have gone back to, not kids, but young adults have gone back to college that were working in these plants and working on the farms. So monthly milk production has dropped in several states over the past few months, including as recently in June. From January through June, U.S. milk production was down 1% for the year. All right, so you're thinking, well, 1% is not that much. Well, it's going to take something, and just drinking milk is one thing, but when you consider how much milk, cheeses, and butter takes and stuff like that, 1% is a major change. Labor shortages only aggravated existing supply issues. However, with tight milk and cream supplies, MKey warned that cheesemakers may start to face production issues as a result. So now milk is down, butter's down. Now cheesemakers can't find enough because they're in competition, which says it right here. They're in competition with the cheesemakers and puts butter manufacturers, though, in a better position because if cheesemakers aren't going to buy milk and stuff to make cheese, then it relaxes the supply a little bit for butter. So butter may come up, but now you don't have any cheese. All right. With higher cheese prices, processor margins will be squeezed, resulting in slower cheese production. Cheesemakers will not want to build excess inventories for the months ahead, although it will make more milk available for the butter churns. So, if you are totally into, cheeses, which I love all kinds of cheeses. My granddaughter is a cheese fanatic. Anything with cheese on it, she loves it. There are so many different kinds of cheeses, but according to this expert that knows the dairy industry from the banking side, they're going to slow down their production of cheese, and there's not going to be that much cheese. So there are some other people that I checked out in regards to the shortages and stuff. And they were making the comment that a lot of those commodities are down, but even though meat prices have gone up, there's not a scarcity of meat as of yet, and I have not seen a scarcity of meat in the markets around me. Some of the stuff you just can't find the specialty cuts. Why can't you find the specialty cuts? Because, as the butchers say, they don't have the manpower or woman power in their butcher area to make all the different specialty cuts of meats. They just don't have people working. So that makes a big thing. But what they're saying is down the road, you're going to start seeing less and less beef in stores. All right. Several times in this video, we already said why. We already said that government is pressuring the cattle and the dairy industry to get rid of some of their cows, reduce production. Because of that, a lot of dairy and cattle companies are reducing their herds. So there's a lot of cows going to slaughter, which means there's a lot of meat out there for you and I to buy if you like meat, you know. But what's going to happen is as their herds get down to a certain size, um, they won't be sending that many to slaughter. And what does that mean? If they're not sending as much to slaughter as they were before, then meat is going to become scarce, meat's going to go up. Then in the spring, there aren't going to be as many cows to give birth to new to new cows. So down the road, it will stay scarcity going into the slaughterhouses. So it's a horrible spiral, and that's why my wife brought up the fact that, well, hon, there's supposed to be a turkey and chicken shortage coming also. And I said, well, that makes sense, because if the beef industry is under pressure to reduce their herds, I don't see why the chicken and turkey industry or the poultry industry isn't under pressure to do the same thing. And she said that may be true, but what I heard was, say it with me, a labor shortage and a feed shortage. All right, because the feed takes a lot of people to manufacture that feed. It's just not totally, it's automated, but it still takes people to do it, and they just don't have the personnel. And again, it's taken a long startup time for all these factories to get going. So just more great news. So when you go to your shelves, take a look. If there's something you want to buy now, like we always have beef tenderloin on Christmas Eve. A whole family comes over and we go to Costco, get a real nice cut of beef. And I said to my wife, I said, should we wait? And she goes, no. She says, let's not. Let's go get it and we'll freeze it. And she says, it's going to be fine. We'll just, thaw it out in time. It's no different than when we used to buy, half a cow or a quarter cow and keep everything in the freezer, thaw it out. The steaks were fine. I said, when should we go? Should we go? She goes, how about tomorrow? When you get off of work, pick me up. We'll go to Costco. We'll start getting stuff that we can get in the freezer. And I went, dang, the wife is totally on board now, because she's going to miss out on her beef tenderloin if we don't get it. And we're not going to have that happen. So keep an eye on your shelves. If there's stuff that you need for the holidays, and that could be butter, that could be flour, that could be sugar, that could be all kinds of stuff that could be disappearing. It could be tomato products. It could be all kinds of stuff. It could be almonds for cooking, for your cookies and stuff like that. Just take the time and think about what you use over the holidays, because don't forget, I mean, you've got the big three holidays: Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. All right, I threw Halloween in there because it's close to my birthday and I like Halloween. But plan ahead, get what you need, and have it stored. If you can freeze it, freeze it. If you can't, find out how long you can keep it, and get in. Just some stuff you got to follow dates on because of danger. Cans, you don't have to. We've talked about that in some of the videos. Speaking about other videos, you can always go to our playlist and take a look at some of our other stockpiling videos and our first aid videos and our playlists and stuff like that. And please, what I want you to do, if you have a comment, if you have a question, please send them to me. Everybody knows that if sent me a comment or a question, I answer every single one of them. It may take me a week. All right. I'm not inundated with questions, believe me. I mean, we have a very great audience. You all are absolutely fantastic, all 2,000 of you. But I also ask you, if you like the video, please like the video. If you don't like it, tell me why. Did I miss something? Am I wrong on something? You know, this is back and forth here. I'm just here trying to help you. You can help me. A lot of you subscribers have helped me by saying, hey, Rich, what about this? What about that? What about this? And I've looked into it and we've made videos on that. If you want to see another video on something specific, let me know. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Ring the bell. You'll get these videos right off the bat. I know this one's a little bit long and I'm talking a lot, but I'm trying to talk fast. So if you want to see, like I said, if you want to see more videos from us on a specific topic, let me know. But please subscribe. Subscribers are the lifeblood of a YouTuber. Without you, I'm really sitting here talking to myself. But thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. And remember, always be aware of your surroundings, no matter where you're at work, play, the pool, wherever. There's not many people going to the pool. The ski hill, how about that? The ski hill. Make sure you have enough food on hand for shelter in place, bug out, and now the holidays, apparently. You have to worry about that. And please, prep like your life depends on it, because it really does. Thanks a lot. Take care. See you next time.